agar mau buat recording, bom eu pakai taruh deh, YouTube tembar, iman deh bola. Okay, hoş. Ini harus nanti şöyle. Okay. Demek, we're live on YouTube. So, like I mentioned early, in today's or online class, I'd like to cover the following topics. The topic is front end. I don't want to waste your time by putting a lot of emphasis on unnecessary commands. I know there are not unnecessary commands, but I want to focus on most frequently used commands like in HTML and CSS. I'll show you how to create from scratch. I'll to show you, we can build some examples, as simple as how to put together several like a div boxes, right? You can work with the model, like the box model, padding, margin, what those mean, floats, right? How do you work with the divs? How do you work with the colors, fonts, font families, and so many others, right? So let's take a look at those. So first thing is first. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, and 1 second. All right, now close unnecessary windows that I don't need. They're going to come back here. Sure. Okay. Good. You guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Everybody see? Okay, good.
Yes,
All right. So first thing is first, what I'll do is I'm going to close everything and start from here. Now, I will just use HTML. I'll just call this front end, okay, for now. Front end. And the first thing is I'm going to create index. And you guys already aware, I mentioned many times, index file, the naming convention plays a big role, right? So every file, every folder, if you start with index, is usually the default file name. So what that means, if inside a folder, if you're trying to access the folder level, then it searches for index file.php. Well, it depends on how you set up the XAMPP or Apache. Because if you pay attention during installation, there's a particular step where you go into the configuration file and you mention the hierarchy. You say, every time I open the certain folder or certain directory, I want that this particular file to be like a priority file, which is the main file. And an index.php is the one. All right. So let's say that I want to build my basic HTML template. So first thing is first, I'm going to take advantage of what the PHP Storm is offering, which is like a boilerplate, or how do you say, it fills in for me, right? So I don't have to waste my time to write down this. But you have to be careful. I don't want you to get too relaxed and too depend on this one, because a lot of times when you go to job interviews, they might not give you the opportunity to use the PHP Storm. They might just give you, hey, here's your notepad, and I want you to write me HTML. Then you're probably gonna run into some issues. We'll be like, I used to use PHP Storm, so I don't know how. So what you do is, if you don't want, you may want to practice writing like, like this, doc type, HTML, right? And then you're gonna open up the HTML. Obviously, HTML opens up HTML, and then you have to close it. Then you need to write my head, right? Inside the head, you can write the title, my HTML, and then you can also write other stuff, like, for example, meta, and you can say content, and so on, so on. So for now, I'm not gonna focus on those. Now, this is good. Now, the most important part is going to be body. And this is where you're going to be writing all of your HTML code. So let me grab my pen and kind of give you visual representation here. So basically, your HTML codes going to go inside of right here between body. Let me switch the color of my pencil so that you guys can see it. So right here, okay, right over here. Good. Now, basically, I can go ahead and delete that. I don't need it. And let me go with another one. All right. So all the meta tags go between heads right over here. So this and this. What the meta tags? Meta tags is like when you have a passport, when you travel somewhere, all the information stated on the passport, like who you are, where you're from, basically anything like we need to know about you, it's going to be stated right on the passport. And it's almost like this is the passport of the website, like of web page, right? So anytime when you submit your code or when you are on a global network, like on www, worldwide network, Google search, Yahoo, and any other searches, any other servers, what they do is first thing they're going to access is your site's head, which contains lots of meta tags. Meta tags contains like let's just talk about this. The character set, which is UTF-8, right? It's a universally like a text format, basically. And then the viewport, which means that, hey, if somebody wants to access your site, your page from different devices, like tablets or small devices, or it could be large projectors, or it could be anything, right? So depending on the sizes, so this will adjust basically according to your size. And then of course, this compatibility, this is kind of, I would say like a little hack for making your site compatible with the Internet Explorer Edge. And obviously this is the title, which means you need to write what your site is about, what this page is about. Okay, now, so if I go ahead, open up in a browser, so let me open this and put it right here. And now you know where title is going, so let's grab this. As you can see, this document is going to and showing up right over here. And of course, I encourage you to basically change that because, and that's the purpose of that title tag. I want you to use that effectively. Now I'm going to say this. Welcome to our HTML class, for example, right? Now, if I come back and refresh it, and you'll see this reflects right here. Good. So that's a fundamental entrance. And since we already broke the ice with the HTML, so now let's continue that. You guys know already, you already aware that every HTML tag, when they open, they must close. And you guys already know that with the what? Slash tag, right? This is the slash, which is basically there's a forward slash and there's a backslash. Now, let's say the main thing is if you're not using the Bootstrap, and let's say just you don't have the Bootstrap and you want to build it from scratch, and then what I would suggest is build it by using the box model. What's the box model? It's a bunch of divs, right? Divs is the HTML kind of a tag. Now, let's say that I'm going to start with the regular div. Let's say I want to go ahead, create a box and put it right in the middle. Okay, so make sure that it's evenly adjusted, the size from top to bottom. And I want to put it right in the middle. So they might ask you during the interview, it's like, hey, can you build me a box right there and put it in there and make sure it's like solid center aligned and make sure there's enough space between left and right and top and bottom? Sure, you can do that. That's very easy, right? Let's go and build that. Now, I'm going to come back here and say div. Very simple, right? You don't even have to write anything. Now, before I write my CSS, the style, which is CSS commands, I'm going to let you know that you can do this two ways. One is you can write your CSS inside of HTML, which is style, inside of right here, or you can create this in a separate CSS file, separate, and then you can just kind of reference this here. Either way, it does the same job. Now, when it comes to CSS main purpose is basically itself, it's the name itself saying that it's about styling. What's a styling? Styling that works with basically the design. Whatever you see, it's like what you see, what you get. If you see on the side, the body, the background, color, size, dimensions, whatever you see, it can be managed and designed by CSS. I would say 90.9 or 99%. I'm not going to say 100%. There may be some here and there, something may cause some problems. Maybe we might need some other help, like for example, jQuery when it comes to dynamic, maybe JavaScript and all the stuff. But right now, let's focus on that. So, and in CSS, it's almost like HTML and CSS, they're talking back and forth, right? So HTML is the one that creates the fundamentals, like the frame, basically. Frame. It's like building the house. So let's say HTML already built a div, and now it's asking CSS, go ahead, design that div. And we already know what we are building, which is the box in the center. So CSS was asking, okay, HTML, what do you want me style? It's a good question, right? So now you have to give every element, either you can call this by name of the element, or you can give a class name or ID. Okay, so one is by element name itself, like div, for example. So I can just say div, and then I can go with, we're gonna go with 500 pixel. We're gonna say height 500 pixel. Now, there are a couple of, maybe not even a couple, maybe more than that. Just a few ways, actually, you can put dimensions, like a measurement for the element. One of them is mostly commonly used is the pixels. Pixels, you guys know that, is a little small, tiny square. When you take the picture, you can see when you zoom in, you can see the little square bracket. That's, that's just tiny one. Very, very little tiny cell. That's how it's measured. It's very, very tiny square cell. So that means 500 pixels this way, 500 pixels this way, which is a width and height. Now, so now next thing I want to do is I want to give it some kind of a background color. As you can see, it's very simple. You just type background dash color, and you can pick any color you want, or you can type just say red or blue. Simple English word, or hexa, like there's RGB. RGB stands for red, green, and blue. So because all the colors are made up by three major colors: red, green, and blue. That's what it's called RGB. So you can do that, like say F00, which means like a red. If you do 000, that's a black. So if you want to write something completely black, 000. And FFF is usually white. And then anything green, you can pick, okay? So I wouldn't recommend to remember every one of them. It's just not practical. So instead, you can use like a human readable like colors, like you say red, purple, light, dark, whatever. All right. So for this example, I'm going to use, we can use this one right here, purple, Rebecca purple. Good. Now, since I already have the box, I'm going to come back. We do have the box. Okay, good. Now, next thing we're going to do is let's put that in the center. There's a couple of ways you can do that. One is we can go to the body, and then we can tell the body, text align center, there's a but. If you do that, then that will basically enforce that text align center for all other elements in HTML. And the real question is, do you want that, or do you want the text align center only this particular div box? If the answer is latter, then what you do, you're going to come back, you take advantage of the margin command. Okay, margin command is basically put auto. Auto means, hey, CSS, I'll trust you. Just go ahead, make that both sides and top everywhere, make that auto. Auto means it'll decide. CSS will put it right in the center, okay? So now, when I refresh it, it puts right in the center, except top. So that's the kind of exception. So what you do is you need to tell to the top, say, hey, I want to put some little bit height. So let's say if I put 50 pixel on top, And you guys know that usually you have 4 dimensions, like sizes, right? So first one is going to be top, and the second one is going to be right, and third one is going to be bottom, and the fourth one obviously is going to be left, right? So I'm going to come back and refresh it, and just a little bit, maybe we can go 100 pixels. All right, so there we go. And let me just make this a little bit larger. Now, okay, boom. There's a box in there. It's a simple, just box, empty box. You see nothing there. And you can write something like that, say, yeah, I don't know, if you can just say box maybe. There we go. But the text is not appearing, not it's necessarily what we want it to be, but obviously we can design that. We can put that in the center. So let's do that. Let's say that I want to put the box right in the middle. So let's say I want to write, where's my pen? So let's say I want to put the box right here. What do? Well, let's take advantage of the CSS commands. I'm going to come back here. First thing I'm going to do is I want to say text align center. That means I want to put that right in the center right here. Okay, not the vertical right here and the horizontal right here. I want that box right over here. Good. And that will take care of that. Text dash align. There's a line and there's a V line, right? So now box is there. And then next thing I want to do is I want to change the size of the font. So let's say 40 pixel. Is that big? Is that small? Well, we'll see. Now I want to change the color of the box, which is right now it's black. So I'm going to say color, and let's put white or any color you prefer. It could be white smoke, antique white, floral white, etc. Let's say we're going to use the Navajo white. Fresh. Now you got box. How do we move that box to the center? So we're going to use the line height. And then let's say this is the size of 500 pixel and the 40. So I'm going to use 460 pixel and let's see where it's going to put us. If not, we're going to adjust it. Okay. So what did I do? Why? How did I come up with 460? Well, let's see. So 500 is, 500 is the height, the maximum height. And I basically take that 40 pixel and I basically, you see that 40 pixel? So minus 40 pixel, that gives me 460 pixel. So, and I put it right in the 400 pixel right here. Boom. Okay, good. Let's go next item. So we got the line height, we got this 460 pixel, and we got a 40, boom, boom, and bada boom, right there. Now let's say that you want to put the border, that's no problem. Then you can just say border, 4 or 5 pixels, it doesn't matter, whatever suits you. Now there are a couple of ways you can say solid is the type of the, basically, oh sorry, this is the color. Let me give you the color of light something. Should we get a dark? Let's go dark. Dark, I don't know, blue maybe. So if I come back and say dark blue. Now the solid, this is the type of a border. It could be dot dot, right? Or it could be a solid lines, as you can see. Now this one can be like 10 pixels. Boom, boom. And let's switch that back to solid. All right. Now, next thing we want to do is, and now the most commonly used command is the shadow. How do I put the shadow? And like say that side, like make it look like 3D box, right? So in that case, you're going to say box shadow. You guys seen that many times. I used it. I used the 5 pixel everywhere. And then you can say dark. Let me see, purple maybe, purplish, and then now I can pick this little color picker right here, and then I can adjust my color just to make it a little bit darker. So now on the second thought, since I'm using the dark blue, why not um, use that dark blue and drop that little tone? Okay, so let me see now how it looks. Now I can adjust this if I want to. How? Go ahead, take advantage of what browsers offering in developers tool section, which is inspect element. So you go to inspect element. Chrome doesn't say inspect, but the Firefox says inspect element. Now, in order to see these, basically, you have to kind of adjust your window and you come back here. Let's talk about what's the first 5 pixel means. So this one, if you play around a little bit, it goes to the left. Is that what we want? Probably not. Now, let's talk about the second 5 pixel, which is this second dimension. Okay, so this controls go up and down, right? Which they may not be the one that I'm looking for. The third one, and what is it doing? Oh my goodness, look at that. It's a thickness, right? How thick? Look. And that becomes blurry. Maybe this is what I'm looking for a little bit. Okay, let's leave there for now. And finally, the fourth one is going to be how big the thickness is. Okay, like that. So if this is the result you're looking for, then what you do is you copy the command, which is you adjust it, and then you need to copy and make sure that you replace it with the current command. Otherwise, when you refresh this browser, you're gonna lose the command. So it's up to you. All right. Now let's go refresh that, and that's how it looks. Good. That's the box. Now let's say that you want to have many boxes and going this way and that way. How do you do that? That's very simple too. So in this case, I'm gonna reduce the size of the box from, let's say, from 50 to, 500 to 100. Okay, you come back, boom, which now, since I have this font, I'm gonna remove that as well because we're already done with that exercise. And now I'm gonna remove that. Good. And we also remove this margin. We don't need that because, like I said, this belongs to the previous exercise. Now let's say that I want to put a bunch of divs right here. So you know how it is. You can just bum, 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 bum. Now you see a lot of them right here. Now, this may not be necessarily what I wanted. So let's put some little space between these boxes, right? So we know how to do that. We can just say margin. Let's give a 5 pixel around. So when I do that, now it's going to open up a little boxes, but that's not enough. So what we do is we're going to add that little bit extra space so that we can see how they open. Maybe more for our test purposes. Okay, good. And this is called like natural default position. Now let's say you want to go this way, like horizontal way, not the vertical. And then what you do, I want all boxes to show up there. You can take advantage of a couple of things. Either float you can use the float, or you can come back, say display, and then in block. When I refresh, boom, it automatically fits everything. Okay, right here. So whether you make it small or big, it'll automatically adjust it. Good. Now, how do you like this to be center aligned? What do you do that for that? So that's easy. Then you need to address this with the body. So let's go ahead and create a body div, and then I'm going to put all my divs. Basically, I'm creating a parent class, a parent box, and I'm going to basically call them. Let's call them class my box, right? And now look at this. Now we are running into the conflict naming conventions. In this case now, when I do div, and basically what happens was I put all my divs inside of the one div. Look at that, see? And it's breaking the command. And that's not what the result that we're looking for. So instead, what do I do? Since this is the kind of ambiguous, what I want to do is I want to call this my box. So we're going to say dot my box, right? And the my box has the child, which is the children, lots of divs. So then I'm going to say div. Now, when I refresh it, and what is my div? It's not saving. Hang on a second. Okay, good. So now if I multiply this, boom, problem solved, right? Now in this case, I can basically target the parent class separately. I can target the children class separately, the boxes, right? In this case, let's say I want to put them in the center, and then I'll come to the parent box, and I can say text align center. Now if you refresh it, boom. So they are centrally aligned. Okay, good. Another thing that I want to talk about, if you want to do this by float, you might run into a little bit of trouble putting this in the center, because what the float does is float left, float right. It basically takes the element and puts it far, far, far either left or far, far on the right. So if you want, I can demonstrate that as well. Now, let's remove the inline block now. That happened. I'm going to replace the inline block with float. And in this case, we're going to use the left. You can use the right if you want to, but now watch what's going to happen. As you can see, this code that I wrote, it says text align center, is not affecting anymore. It's not working. So that means it's not listening the parent's command. So that's what the float is. Float is good in some situations, but the float is very stubborn, okay? It's very hard to manage sometimes. How so? If there's one trick, basically, a lot of developers make a mistake, like especially junior developers. They write the float, and they forget the clear fix. What the clear fix? It's still a little hack, basically saying, hey, you start the float, but you never tell me where to end. So that means the program will continue to float. That means anything you write here, everything is going to be float, 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 float. So what you do, you need to tell, hey, last item or last element that I want to be float is this. So after that, you have to say float and float. That means that's it. Float ends. So how do you do that? You're going to come back here. And then the last item is going to be div. And then you say clear fix. And I come back. So as you can see, the last one showed up. So that means this one is done, right? So let me put this upside so that it doesn't show up. Okay, there we go. Now, in case if I want to write something else, right? So I guess we're gonna use that inside, because otherwise it's not gonna listen to mine. All right, good. So that's good. Let's get in there. Very good. Now, as you can see, it is happening. But unfortunately, as far as the text align center, it's not listening. And I'm gonna switch this back to display, and that is gonna be in block. Boom. That's exactly what I want. Okay, and now let's say that I want to put some background. How do I do that? I'm going to Google and just want to grab any images right now for test and educational purposes. I don't recommend copying or using the public, not public so much, but somebody else's property without giving you proper credit. I just need to mention that. It's a violation of copyrights. But for our educational purposes, go ahead, use that, but don't use that for commercial purposes, okay? Any questions so far? So if you are building a commercial website, try not to use somebody else's work, like a graphic, some design, some videos, or something else, unless you ask for permissions. So what you do is, let's say you find some images, right, on the website, on the web. So you really, really like it. I would suggest contacting the author and asking for permission. Say, hey, just quick write, say, hello, sir or ma'am, I see you have this nice image that you're using. Is that okay if I use that on my website as well? I truly appreciate that. And like, oh yeah, sure, I'll give you permission. You can go ahead and use that. At that moment, now you have a written consent from the author, then you're free to go to use the basic. Okay, so let's say I'm gonna look for an image and go click on image, right? And I'm gonna use the tools. How do you want to use? Let's say I want to use any way I want. It could be maybe small. But in this case, I kind of like this one. All right, copy that. It is two ways. You can copy, save the images, and put it in your local folder. The advantage is huge. If you can actually copy image address and use that, this is the easy way and the fastest way. But unfortunately, it's a downside. It has a downside. What is it? In case the original author decides to remove that image, that will remove yours too. Because all you're doing is you're referencing, you're connecting to the URL. You're just saying, hey, I want you to get that image from this website. And that website, it happens to be offline, and that's not going to show up on your site. It's going to break your site too. And you see sometimes the page is like going loading and loading and loading. Why? Because if you go to inspect element, go to the network section, you'll see some images trying to access original source, which is not available. And that's what happens there. Now, when you do the save images on your local folder, what is the advantage? Advantage is, in case if you lose the internet access, then you don't have to worry about that image is going to be available 24/7 because it's coming from your computer. Right. So in this case, I'm going to copy image address, and I will come back and just put that background URL, which is image right here, and URL, and make sure you put that right in here. Now, since the images are, our boxes are small, they're going to go like this, because look at this, how big the image is, right? And our box is small. Now, what I'm going to do is I want that particular image to fit exactly in my box. How do I do that? I will say, come back here, background size. I want to put 100 pixel this way, 100 pixel to the left, right? So I'm going to come back and boom, it fits exactly. Okay, so now let's see. I want to come back and open it up, and this is how big it is. So let's say that I want to change the background color of one of those. Let's use this one right here. Copy image address. And I want to change, for example, the third one right here. How do I do that? Well, here's how I do this. You can either come back here and give a class name on the third one, or easy way is you can come back and you can just say the following: dot my box div, and then you say nth child, which is 0, always 0, 1, 2. So we're going to say 2, right? And then you can come back, say background image, URL, and make sure you put that in there right there. Boom, done. So when I come back and refresh, oh, I guess 0, 1, 2. Third one, I guess. 0, 1, 2. No, third one, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3. I mixed up the array in PHP. So 1, 2, 3. Now you got the third one is different. And let's say I want to do the fourth one. And let me just pick another color. Maybe this color here. Copy image address. And then do the same thing. All you have to do is come back, div my box, and then you have this div and child, which is going to be fourth. And oops, we didn't write the background image URL, and then just drop it here. And when I come back to refresh, boom. See? So that's how it is. And let's see what else you're gonna learn. How about cursor? Well, you guys know that, right? There's a different cursor types here. One is a pointer, is the most commonly used, which is the finger, right? Like clickable finger. So when I do this, now you see this kind of thumb, index finger, right? So the other ones are like, if you want to move something, move. Okay, let's move. There's a cross. It's cross here. Okay, like almost like selecting something, and the other ones as well. So right now, let's leave that for pointer. Now, If I want to change the color of any of these elements, like a background, or maybe border or something, when I mouse over, then you can come back and say, hey, I want a hover effect. So you say my box div, and then you say hover effect. And let's say I want to change the border shadow in both of them. And I'll come back here. And this time I'm gonna select the green. I'm gonna select the darker green. And let's try that. Refresh. Now when I come back, as you can see, it's changing that as well. Boom, boom. All I'm doing is, as you can see, I'm changing what I want to change. Everything else is coming from my box. Okay, so those are important ones. All right. Boom, 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 bada boom. Let's put text inside. The text could be anything. I just put this again, my box. And I'm going to remove any of those because I can put anything I want, all of them, right? Oh, that's huge. Why? Because our font basically says 40 pixel somewhere here. And if you want to adjust this one, I'll come back. And let's go ahead and adjust this 40 pixel to something smaller. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Maybe this is enough. My box right here. 20 pixel. Let's change that to 20 pixel. And we are going to add the line height back to adjust the vertical. In this case, 100 pixels, so I'm going to put that 80 pixel. Let's see what happens there. Now we'll adjust it. Maybe this is, I would just put 85 pixel, plus minus. You think that's enough? If not, if you're not satisfied, you're welcome to change that to 90 pixel, for example. There we go. Okay. Boom, boom. Now, let's say that I'm going to add a little bit of shadow to my text. That's easy too. And you can come back to do that as well. I'll do that. We say text, dash shadow. Let's say I want to put 3 pixel, and light some color, I guess, like a green maybe. Let's try that one. Now, this is too much now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to adjust that. You come back to the text shadow. And you can adjust this 2 dimensions here. Boom, boom. Okay, and then this one is a top to bottom. And the green may not be the color, and you can go ahead and adjust it as well. Darker colors probably. So it gives you an illusion of kind of 3D effect. Okay, so copy that and replace it the text shadow command right here. Okay. That's it. So now you have a little bit of the boxes. They're putting anywhere you want. Okay. Any questions so far? We're going to continue. Okay. So let me just go back here and then show you the code. When you're watching the video, you can pause anytime you want, basically. So as you can see, nothing much going on here except lots of div boxes. And you can multiply this anytime you want. Now, scroll down to the CSS. All I have is the biggest one is going to be my box. You may be wondering where my box in div comes from. My box is the parent of lots of boxes, which is my box right here. And this my box has a lot of children, lots of divs. Instead of giving lots of name, because a lot of times you might not have ability to add due to the fact that either they can be small, like a less, or it could be more. They may be dynamically generated. So you might not be able to give them class names. So that's why I'm referring them as the children of all divs, okay? And then right here, I'll just set up the hover effect, which is my box, and the child div, which is all the divs. When you mouse over, you can also design that particular box. Then nth, basically, there are a couple of ways. If you're looking to do something with the first child, you just say first child. If you do something with the last child, then you say something last child. There's a command for that. First child, first dash child, and the last one is last child. You don't have to use the nth child. Anything between first and last, you can use the nth child. nth, okay? Where the nth come from, it's like English, you know, how it is, second, third, fourth, you know, fifth, ph. Okay, now let's talk about the body now. What do you do with the body? Body is the mother of all layers, right? It's like a root layer. That's everything. All the codes, you know, sits in between body. Now let's say I'm gonna find a large image, and then let's go ahead put that in there too. Large image, which is, let's see. How about this image? Is that big enough? So what I do is, if you're not sure, you come back to the tools, click on size, and pick the large. And I'm going to use one of those large images. I like this one right here. I really like it. Okay. If you open up the open the image, oh, that's beautiful. Okay. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna come back here in the code. We type body. You don't need to put it. You don't need to give a class name to body, because body, it's the only one, right? Obviously, you're not going to have 2 or 3 bodies. You're going to have one body. So that means you don't need to. So if you know anything is unique, you know that that's going to be only one. Then you don't need to give ID. You don't have to give naming convention. You can just call body. So among all the elements, if you ask who the body is, then everybody knows that's the body. That's the only body. I want to give a background color. You're probably wondering, Jonica, you already given the background image. Why do you have to give background color? Is that necessary? Well, it's not necessary, but I'll tell you why the background color is important, because I know that I'm giving already background image, but not all the computers, all the speeds are same. Some computers might function slowly, or maybe some people may have a slower internet than you do. So what happens is, every time browser loads your site, first thing it does is loads the color. Your color will show up, and then background image. You notice that sometimes, now anymore, but back in the old days, that when people have a slower internet, when you go to a certain site, you'll see the color comes up first, and you can see image like slowly loading. So that's what basically preventing that. Now, so let me get that background image. It's the same way. It's very simple. And drop it right here. Okay. Now, if you come back and refresh it, refresh our site. Now look at this, how big it is, which we don't want that. We do not want this way. So that's why we have to set up the size. Then you can come back here. And I'm going to say background image. I'm going to say size. A couple of ways you can do that. Either by setting the measurement, like 100 pixel by 100 pixel, or you can just say color. So when you do the color, look how it is. But unfortunately, you're leaving a lot of spaces on the bottom. Okay. And there are other ones as well. Let me just explore those with you. Let's see what we got going on here. So color, let's say they contain. Okay. And you see a lot of repetition going on. So I'm going to come back and say, hey, I don't want that images to be repeated. I'm going to say no repeat. Okay. Look at that. Which not good. Now, what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to force this to be 100 pixel that way, 100 pixel this way. So let me show you what those 100 pixel means. Okay. Now, what is going on here? Why is that the body is basically not covering everything? Why is that? Right. Well, because the body doesn't have the measurements. We never set the body's measurements. We never set anywhere. So that means anytime you go to scroll up and down, there's no measurement, because it can go all the way, like, I don't know, long. So what you do is, there's a little hack I'm going to show you guys. So what you do is you're going to come by and say HTML and body. I'm sorry to say that, but your width is going to be 100 pixel, and your height is going to be 100 pixel as well. Now I'm going to say padding 0 pixel, margin 0 pixel. Okay, so now browser will understand that. Browsers are like, oh, okay, so now I know the HTML's body's dimensions, the following. So when I come back and refresh it, now it basically knows that, I got you now. So you want me basically fill in entire body, because now I know what the body's measurement, which is 100 pixel, 100 pixel. So that's it, problem solved, okay? And this, it doesn't matter if you look at on the phone, it doesn't matter if you look at on the tablet, it just fits right in, no problem. It fills in everything, or entire body, okay? So I think enough about the body, which is good. Make it small, doesn't matter, and boom. Okay, what else are we gonna do? And now let's talk about some buttons, right? Buttons, and then I'm gonna go ahead and grab some of the Bootstrap best practices, and I'm gonna share with you guys. So this is everything is raw HTML and raw CSS without using any libraries or any third-party help. Okay, so let me check with everyone, make sure everybody's following. Anybody's falling asleep? Everybody's here so far? Okay, good. Alrighty, and very good, very good. All right. Let's say that I'm going to put lots of buttons on here. So let's go ahead, use my pen. Here's what I want to do. I want to put a box here. And I'm going to put like some like href or some whatever, like hyperlink, right? So I want to be able to boom, 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 and put them in right there, okay? So let's do that. So let me just open this here, in here. Okay. You know, I wouldn't do it. Let's leave this here for now. I'm going to open it up. So let's say another div, and I'm going to say class. My navigation, you can say my nav if you want, or you can just say nav. Okay. Or HTML5 supports that nav itself. You can just say nav. Boom. Okay. You can say that nav. And inside, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my href reference. And if you don't want to mention anything, you can just put pound. That means it takes you nowhere. And then we can just say home. Let's go ahead, build a couple of them. And this could be maybe contact us. This could be maybe products. This could be maybe about us. And this could be maybe terms and conditions or something. So when I come back, and they're all gonna show up there. Good. Let us see, navigation. Okay. Next thing I want to do is I want to put them all in the box, which I already did that. This is the same thing like a div, except HTML5 will understand that this is a, hey, this is a unique kind of a box, and you already give a naming convention already. So you're going to come back, you just say nav, and I would say width, and the size of that, I'm going to start with the 400 pixel. Let's go height with 200, maybe 150 pixels. You guys writing in the chat or something? Can you show buttons with div class? Can you show buttons? Yeah, yep. So I can show you with the raw, and I can also show you with the Bootstrap. Okay. Now, so let's say that I'm already setting up my div dimension. So I'll just say, let's go with the background color. In this case, I'm going to go with something dark. And let's say if I come back refresh, you see that? So height obviously is too high, and let's give them 75 instead of 150. Okay. Now what I want to do now, I want to move this box where this red little prototype, which is the square, I want to move this right in the center. And let's do that. How do I do that? I can take advantage of a couple of things. One is a position, it's called position, and a relative, or I can use this absolute. Relative, the word itself, relative, means relative to the parent. So whatever the parent is, that's what the position relative will be adjusted itself. So if you say absolute, that means it's absolute, it's relative to the body, which is the main root. In this case, I'm going to say to the parent to the parent class. Now, position relative, you have to mention the left position, 100 pixel, and then top position, you can say 200 pixel. Come back and refresh it. Boom. And now we're going to play around a little bit and adjust it right in there. How do you do that? Go to inspect element. Obviously, you have to use this. If you're having a hard time, what you do is you separate this, the dock, you dock it outside, and then just adjust it a little bit. Now, left, I'm going to add more left. Okay, and then I'm going to also add a little top, or makes it decrease the top right here. All right, now width, I need a little bit more. And the height, I'm going to need a little bit more. And then the left, I'm going to decrease this a little bit so that I can move this to the center right here. All right. Now, you don't have to do the position left unless you tell the parent that I want everything in the middle. Let's try that. In the meantime, I'm going to copy this before I lose my code. And I will just replace my current code with this. And now let's analyze that. Let's ask question from Nav. Hey, Nav, who's your parent? Ask the Nav who's the parent is. The Nav parent is the body. Is this what we want? Do I want the entire body to be center aligned? Or no? So I need to pay attention to that. If not, just leave it. If yes, then you come back to the body. There's the body, and you come back and say text align. Let's put everything in center. So now when I refresh, boom, everything is centered. And if you want to remove this, maybe it'll be good. If not, we'll put it back. And I guess when it comes to position relative, this thing might not play the role because you're specifically asking, hey, I want to use this left dimensions. Okay. Now, this is good. Now let's say I want this background to be a little transparent. Maybe add some opacity, right? It's easy. You come back to inspect, and then you're going to come back. You say, click on this guy right here. And good thing that inspect element will give you opportunity to make this transparent. Look at this on the bottom one right here. So grab this and drag it to the left. Look at that. Up. Now you see, boom. It's making it more transparent. Look at that. So keep that. That's good. Look at that. You still can see the background, but you can notice there's something in there. So let's say that I'm going to copy this. Okay. And you come back here, just place it right over here. I think by adding the border, we'll make it more kind of a nice. So I'm going to get 10 pixel. Let's go to double. I'm going to make this double. And the color will be a dark something, I guess, maybe dark blue. All right, let's come back and let's say refresh. Something like that, double. Okay, if you don't like the double, I don't blame you. You can use anything you want. Solid. Okay. All right, good. If you don't like that one, I would say they go to border and you click. And unfortunately, my color picker is not working. I think my Chrome is causing some problems. So what I do is I will go to the Firefox and just kind of take advantage of what Firefox is offering. Firefox is working right now. So I'm going to come back. Okay. So I go to inspect elements. And I will separate this guy, separate window. And you come back to the blue, grab this color picker, and then guess what? You can drop it whatever you want. Let's say you want to grab this guy. Look at how it's changing. Maybe you want this color to be this maybe the mountain color, but you want it darker. Fine. Look at this, right? Kind of blend in. That's totally up to your imagination, however you want to write. Almost like, oh, nice, this is good. Okay. Now, don't forget to copy this and go back to your code. I'm done with the Firefox. It served the purpose. You're going to come back to the border and drop it right over here. So refresh it now, your code remains the same. Good, good, good. Now, let's go ahead, fix these clickable buttons. This, what we're going to do is nav. I have nav. I can say nav. And then inside, I have this href, right? Which is A. All you got to do is, hey, A, son of nav, right? A, son of nav, which is children of nav. Now, inside, I'm going to say, let's color them, give them color, give them white, give them font size. You can specifically use the English word basically by stating large, medium, small, blah, blah, blah. Or you can just, if you know the pixel size, you can say, hey, I want the 30 pixel. If you don't like the 30 pixel, you can use the EM, which is this measurement. So 1 EM is like a 12. If 2 EM is 24, and so on and so on. 2 EM, right? When I come back EM, whoa, that's too big. So let's go ahead, take the notch down. I'm gonna get 20 pixel, I think, smaller. Yeah, it's still big. How about we go with 16? Yeah, that's kind of good, okay. And you're gonna come back here, you'll just say, I'm going to give us some padding. So say padding to the right. Let's add 10 pixel and see what happens there. That's okay. I like to put that right in the middle. We'll talk about that one. So we can say margin. So let's add, so let's try margin 100 pixel in auto. I'm not sure this is going to work. No. So we're not going to be able to use that one. So only way we can use that is going to come back right over here. Use this line height. And that is height is 145. And that is 16. So 140 maybe work. Okay, now, right in the center, as you can see in my text right here, and you can just say font. There's a type, then there's let's explore some of the stuff. So this works with the size, and this one makes it the bolder. I'm gonna make that bolder. Go on. I think is a style. There's border style. There's a font style, list style. Let's go to font style, and there's a normal. Let's see what happens there. All right, that adds up. And then I'm going to make this font. You have to explore all of those, okay? So max size, optical size, palette, size stretch, syntax, variancy, keep going, and so on and so on. And let's say text, text decorations, and then you can just say none. So I want my text to be no decoration at all, so no underlines. And that's how you get rid of it, text decoration. There's underline, there's overline, I believe. I'm gonna say underline, some line as basically line through. Let's try line through. As you can see, it's like crossing out like line through. Okay. All right, and then which if you don't want any of those, you just say none. The word keyword none plays an important role. So don't confuse that none. When I say none, that means something to HTML and CSS. That means I don't want nothing, okay? Click and boom. And let's go ahead, give a color other than white because I want that to be separate. I want the darker. Okay. And you can basically now, you can do whatever you want. If you want the hover effect, guess what? You can do so as well, hover effect. All you have to do is just say hover. And now I'm going to grab this background color, I'm sorry, not background. And I want this to be totally different. Maybe some lighter kind of golden. And I come back refresh. And I can do it like this. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, good. Now, let's go ahead and grab the Bootstrap now. And Bootstrap will take care of a lot of stuff. So in order to do that, you say getbootstrap.com, click on download, if you don't have it, of course, and then just grab this copy right there. And then what you do is, remember, you may want to put right above your CSS file, otherwise, basically, it may override your code. So I'm going to grab this, and then I don't need the JS. Now it's gone. So if you come back, you'll see the difference in a little bit now. Yep, just a little bit of adjustment. Boom, 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 bada boom. Okay, now. And now what I'm going to do is I can use this div box, or there's a class. You can use the class. Let's say class nav bar. You can use the nav bar if you want to. Nav bar. Look what's going to happen if I do the nav bar. Okay, using the nav bar, that's what happens there. Instead of designing yourself, you can actually say nav bar, all of them. Same thing here. Let me grab this one right here. And that's the advantage of what CSS is offering. So you can create all those nav bars, which we don't need that right now. I'm just giving an option, okay? All right, come back here. Let's say I'm going to create exactly the same situation with helping with help of a Bootstrap, right? So I'm going to come back, and then I will put the HR, which is a horizontal line. And then in this case, I'm not going to use the nav. I will use the div. But in this case, I will call this class my nav. My nav. And in this case, just copy the my nav here. And then I'll just call this dot my nav. And only thing I have to move is 110 pixel. I can just put it 200 pixel to the top or bottom. And maybe just gonna lift it up a little bit. I just copied exactly the same thing. So my nav, let's adjust the top. Okay, I'm gonna put that right here. So 90 pixel will do it. 90 pixel, okay. Good. So in this case now, instead of creating my own design, so I will do is I will just override it with a Bootstrap's class called class BTN for button. BTN, now you can just say whatever you want, like say success. And you're going to come back here, do the same thing. You copy this. Boom, I just drop it right in there. And I will let the Bootstrap take care of all the design. So success, I can just say info. I can just say, depending on what you want, dark or danger, dark. And let's go ahead and try that. I refresh. Boom. I got all of them. Beautiful, nicely designed colors. Okay. If you don't want that, you can do so yourself. Since I didn't use the Bootstrap help in the first one, and that's why I didn't get this kind of a nice, beautiful design. But not necessarily you want the same color. Feel free to change them if you want to. Let's say maybe I don't like this kind of a dark. Maybe I want to change that. Okay, you come back, and of course, feel free to change it. I'm gonna come back, and maybe I want a different color, right? Let's say I want a color purplish, but I want this to be very transparent. Wow, that is awesome. Look at that. I can see what's happening in the background, which is good, right? And then I'm gonna grab this guy, come back, the BTN dark, right? And then what you do, that's BTN dark. You come back to your CSS, you can just say dot BTN dark. You're gonna override it with your own color. Okay, so you're gonna say background color and put in there. Now, a lot of times it might not work. Sometimes it might work. If it doesn't work, we know the difference, Well, it's actually worked. A lot of times, if it doesn't work, don't worry. All you have to do, come back and give this keyword called important. What it does is basically CSS tells to parents or any other third-party CSS like Bootstrap, any other one that's basically saying, hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about this. I got this. That means this is important. What I'm about to write, what I'm writing, and that's exactly I want you to listen to this. Don't go by what you have. Go by what I have, which is this. That's why you're saying basically, hey, I'm important. Okay, so that's what the meaning of behind this important keyword is. I am important. Forget about every other background color. Use this instead. Understand, right? Okay, that's it. What else? Let's come to, we're kind of running out of time right now. Let's come to the question and answers. So who has any questions about what we have today or any other questions? Feel free.
How will you give the div span class? What does it mean, and how we're gonna use correctly?
Good question. All right, so if you guys good with this, I'm gonna open up a new file, and then let's just pick it up there. So what the real question is, how what is the main difference? Like, what do I use the span and what do I use the div? So, and then I'm gonna call this November. What is the date today? 8th, November 8th. Okay, so obviously I'm gonna bring up my HTML and let's add my Bootstrap, right? So Bootstrap is going to be Bootstrap, CSS, and then it's gonna be Bootstrap. Okay. In this case, I will just call this h4 div versus span. Div versus span. Open it up. Boom. Now, div and span. Div is like a container. Both of them is a container actually, but depending on the size. So div is a large container, okay? So you can put in a lot of good stuff. And div is more flexible because you can go with div, you're not gonna go wrong, but div is multi-line, okay? Because if you open a multiple divs, they usually put like they open up own lines, okay? In a row, different rows. Unlike span actually smaller in the size because you might not be able to put a lot of stuff, and it's not as flexible as div. So let me show you. So let's say if I have a div, right? And let's go ahead and design our div. So style, and then you're gonna come back say div width. I don't know. I'm gonna go with 100 pixel. Height. I'm gonna go with 100 pixel. Let's give it a background color, something, and border. 1 pixel solid, dark something. Okay, and now let's go ahead and try that. Okay, so in between these, let me give a little draw here, horizontal. Now, if I multiply this, as you can see, it's not putting in the same line because it's creating new row every time. And that's what the div does. It creates a new row. You have to write additional code to tell them that I want this to be, everything is, horizontal, not the vertical. So that's one. And now I'm gonna do the same thing. And let's open up a span here. And span is going to be as many as this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, so only 1. Okay, let's separate this with HR. And let's go refresh. Nothing happening right now because it's empty, right? So come back and you say span. And I will just copy exactly what I have and put it right here. But I want to change this color to, from this color to something totally different. Let's say this kind of a brownish. And then this one is going to be darker brownish. Okay, so let's go ahead and refresh this now and see what happened there. Boom, look at that one. Look at that difference. I use the same command on both. Div listened to me and cooperated with me and being adjustable and kind of flexible. It says, hey, no problem, John, except I will listen to everything except one place. I will go top to bottom. But span says, I'm not going to listen. I'm too small. I want you to use me for the small, short kind of a code, right? That's why same code, it did not work for span. So now I'm going to get span. Let's go padding 20 pixel. Look at this one. I'm blowing out. I'm adding a lot of space inside. I'm like, woo. So now let's do the same thing with this, copy the same code. Look at this. Look at them. There's a war going on, right? Oh, okay, not much going on. So let's go ahead and add some words inside now. Okay, same thing. So I'm going to say span, and I'm going to say this div. Look at this. Okay, 1, 1, 1, and I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right now I'm going to come back. Boom. Look at the span. Span is automatically taking the horizontal position versus a div is taking the vertical position. And span is usually used for a shorter content, like for example, if you're looking for certain keywords and all that stuff. Let me show you that as well. Now, if you want to do exactly the same thing with the span right here, as you can see, I cannot match the size, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to use my inspect element in order to adjust the size of that. Let's say this is going to be 50 pixel. 50 pixel. Oh, sorry. 50 pixel. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, size 80 maybe, I don't know, 80. Let's go 80 for now. Okay, so 80, right? Gonna come back and I will just adjust this to 80 pixel, and you see that this is not even taking any role here. It's not affecting. Good. So if I want to make it exactly like this, then I'm gonna have to come back, use the display position. If you guys know that in block. Now watch this. Boom. It puts right in there. I have to use additional one. Look at that one and look at this one. Okay. Good. But except that I have to use the padding 20 pixels for the span, but I did not use the margin. If you notice that there's a differences. Okay. Now let's say that where else you can use a span. Span is, if you, like I said, shorter content, if you want to highlight, if you want to put containment, if you want to put in text into certain containment, then you have to use the span. So let me grab some words here. I'm going to say lorem ipsum. And I'm going to copy this guy. Okay, and let's open up a file here. The file name is going to be just file. It will be lorem. Okay, so let's go to lorem text. I'm going to drop it right in here. And you're going to come back here. I'm going to delete everything here. You guys good here? Okay, I'm going to delete everything here, and I'm going to start from scratch. So I'm going to open up my PHP because I need that to read that file that I just created. So I'm going to say my text equals to file get contents, and then I'm going to put my lorem.txt file. Good, now I have that. So what's, for example, if I want to write this text, and this is what is going to show up there. Okay, so let's say that I want to put span rounded up in certain keywords, certain text, right? For example, let's find the lorem. So I want to make this color, all of them. How do I do that? That's where span comes into role, okay? You can use a div, but div is a little heavier. And I don't want to use that for wrong purpose. So you come back here and you can just say, boom. You can use the text if you want to. String replace. And this is what you're searching for. It says this lorem. And this is where what you're going to be saving or like replacing. So say lorem, span, and then boom, boom, comma, text. Done. all you have to do is come back here, you type style, right? So in this case, you can give a class if you want to. Little class is not going to hurt. You can just say my_lorem. In this case, dot my_lorem. I want that to be background color to yellow. And it's fine. Let's give a little bit of padding. 3 pixels is good, I think. And that's all I need to do. And then when I come back, dot my_lorem. I want to do the hover effect. My cursor is going to be a pointer. And then I want that background color to be a little different. In this case, let's go with reddish. Let's go refresh it now. I'm going to remove that. Refresh. Boom. When I do this, now I can just effectively highlight the keywords that I'm looking for. See that? Boom. See that? And that's what it's very simple. I just use the PHP's command called file get content to get the file and display it here on the screen. Before I display it, all I did was I said, hey, I want you to search for the word called lorem, and I want you to replace it with the same, except I want you to wrap it up with the span and put that lorem inside. And this is what the text is coming from. And all you're doing is echo text, and CSS is taking care of the rest. Okay. All right. Fatima, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I have a few questions from yesterday about Laravel, sir.
Oh, you want to see the Laravel?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just give me a second. Let me wrap it up, this HTML portion, and then we'll get to your Laravel question, okay? Any other question, guys, so far? We're going to continue to have this kind of a class format time to time until you guys really get caught up on this. Don't worry about this. And I'm also opening a new group. You feel free, welcome, sit in if you want to kind of refresh your knowledge. All right, guys? Okay. Don't have any questions. And let's go ahead and answer Fatima's question. Fatima, go ahead.
Okay, I'll share my screen because I need to show you.
Sure. Go ahead, share the screen.
You need to allow me first.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, hang on. Go ahead now. We can see your screen now.
Okay, so the problem is something wrong with images, and I went to inspect.
Well, I'm not seeing anything right now except your desktop. Yep, there we go. Okay, let's see.
Okay. So something's wrong with the images. They were working fine, but then when I reloaded, when I added something, it's showing this. So I went to network, and it says 403. I don't know how to fix that.
Click on that one once. Click on that one and click on the headers. See the header right here portion? Yep. Okay, scroll down a little bit. Stop right there. It's basically saying strict origin when okay. Scroll up a little bit. Let's go. Okay, so let me look at the code. All right, so this image is not showing up, correct? Along with other images.
Yes, it's a yeah.
Okay, are you using this as a background, or what is that image originated?
It's
what
just,
are you?
It's just carousel, so it's like there's supposed to be 3 pictures.
Oh, okay. Let's open up the code now. So let's look at your carousel.
Okay.
Let me see the carousel here. Okay. Okay. Have you tried to use the different images?
No.
Let's try that. Let's just find another image, total different image. Don't use this content LG, whatever the source. And sometimes they might not give you permission. Like sometimes they might say, hey, if somebody wants to use my image, I don't want them. I want them only coming from my side. So just pick one of those. Yeah, that one is fine. Make sure it's big enough. Copy image address. Yeah, just replace that one. Keep going. Yep, all the way. Oh, you don't want to use that one. See, look, pay attention to the, go to beginning. That's just long. It's a data image, which is 64 bit. Just you don't want to do that. So go ahead, Control Z, Command Z. Yeah, just go get the different one that has the HTTP address. So try that one right there. Copy image address. Okay, good.
Oh yeah, this one too. So it says 404, but if I delete this, like all these views and resources. Okay, now
Okay, so as you can see, the image you picked, it has kind of a restriction. So you may want to pick another image that those images are not allowing. The original source basically has limitation. That's why you're getting the 403. Now, as far as opening up, you don't want to go from your PHP storm to, because Laravel is different. So Laravel is not like regular PHP. From Laravel, you have to basically open up the browser, you know what I'm saying, and then go from there. Now, hello, for example, it's in the route. We have this hello. In regular PHP, it just works a little differently. That's the only difference. So you don't want to go from PHP Storm to browser, so you have to open up your browser and type laravel.us / whatever the route you're creating. So grab another image just to be sure that the problem is with image originator. Just pick another one. Some images might have like the license issues, like you cannot use that for any purposes. But I rarely seen any of those. Okay, now let's go refresh that. Yep. Yep. There we go. Now go back to the code and copy that URL from this broken image right here. Yeah, copy that one, the third one, line 67. Yeah, copy that right here, all the way, and put that on the browser. I want to see what's going to show up there.
Oh, it's a picture from Taekwondo.
Okay, let me see. Okay. Let me take a look at those. Okay. Yeah, just open up a new tab right there, slow, and then click on that. See that? URL expired. And that's what wasn't showing. So let me go ahead. This may be from Facebook, I can tell, right? So what you do, either that image has been deleted. That's the problem when you use the URL, because the author basically is the last person who can basically change that. So that means it's bad. Now you don't want to use that. You can just copy, save image as, and put that image on your local server, which is on your directory, okay? And that's why it wasn't working. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with your code. Your code is fine, except it's not your fault, but you decide to go with the external URL of the image rather than your local. And that's the price you pay when you use somebody else's code, the image. Okay. Any other questions?
Yes. Remember when you explained the Laravel, and then I started building this. And do you have any suggestions to make it better? I just don't like how it looks like. This is supposed to be our pictures. Like, so, you know, I go taekwondo and I was like, so I thought I'm gonna create a website for our center.
Yeah.
So I just don't like I looked up other websites. So I did my research and I don't like how mine looks like. So do you have any suggestions to make it look better?
Okay. Definitely. So my suggestion is good. You started taking advantage of the bootstrap, right? So are these working?
Yes.
Yeah, good. So now let's open up the bootstrap, and there are a lot of other ways you can actually improve your site, make it more responsive design. If you go to the getbootstrap.com, and pretty much there's an example for every case. We go to documentation and click on the components, and look at this on the left. So you have this carousel, that is good. There's some jumbotron, you may want to look into it, like see, kind of large right here, jumbotron. And obviously you can use the forms, nav bars, and let's see, there are other ones right here. Models, media objects, let's see, drop downs. You need to do that. And sometimes there are some themes that you may want to take advantage. Look at this. Are they free ones? Let me check. Yeah. There's some. Yeah. Let me look for free Bootstrap themes. Let's take a look at those. And yeah, there are a lot of them out there. It just gives you like kind of helps you boost your imagination, basically, makes you more creative. It's okay to look at other people's job that kind of inspires you, and not necessarily copying them unless they're free. And you can just basically, oh, that kind of gives you an idea. So let me go ahead um, and do that way. Let's just go ahead, open it up here. Now, if you want to make your site more kind of a dynamic and more modern, go ahead, use the background, image too. So don't worry about that one, and try to use more color like these. Yours is more kind of dry right now. Use this shape a little bit for your boxes, like your divs. There's no shape right now, so make it like a little bit of curvy, curvy bigs, right here. So this button right here, take advantage of that. Make the text large, and don't put too much information in one place. People usually don't like to read because they want to see like, oh, okay, what is this? Yeah, that's it. I don't want to read more than what I'm supposed to, what I want to read. So it's very, very less information is more, a lot of colors, right here. Look at this, right? This could be a good example right here. Your pictures, your images go like this if you want to. Okay, columns, 3 columns, 4 columns. Let's open this up. Look at this one right here. There's another good example. You can use little shortcuts right here and little circles and put those, hey, this is a master, somebody, put that image and then put the information on the, on the bottom. You can use the quotes a little bit. This is another one for any purposes. Maybe you can put picture, or maybe you can put the YouTube right here. Hey, look at some of the classes here, or some of the practices we have in our dojo, and blah 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 blah. And in the bottom, of course, you're gonna add that. It's gonna add a little content. Look at this on the bottom. Look at this, how wavy the background is. Okay, and this one obviously is responsive design. Okay. Now, if you're building something fast and you need to get something done quick, I would suggest that's what I do is go to the theme forest, and then you can pick any theme, just use that theme. It usually costs you like $10 or $5 or $15, depending on the theme that you pick. So let's say you're using the pure HTML, then you click on pure HTML, and yeah, and you can come back and say, for example, karate. And just grab any of those. That's 25 bucks, 16 bucks, right? And if you get any of those, I'll help you to how to install this, and you can give it to them, and they can use it all day. Let's use this one right here, $18. Click on preview, and everything is built. Yeah? And the good thing is bad thing. The bad thing is you don't have to do anything. You still have to do stuff, but not much. But the good thing is it's fast. And if your client or someone is waiting, guess what? Everything is ready for you. All you have to do is change the image, change the content, and the menu. Bam, 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 ready to go. Oh, you can build them, build your site just like that one right here.
Yeah, I want to build it. I don't want.
Okay, if you want to build it, here's for you like a kind of model you can go after. You can say, oh, I like this one. I want to build exactly like this. And they use it. They use the Bootstrap. You see that? Let me give this to you, and you can use this as a model and then build it just like that. Don't make it exactly like this, but kind of like I'm giving you an idea. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Is that good?
Okay. Yes.
Good.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna show it. What the hell is going on here? I just copied this guy. How do I do this?
Do you want to stop the controlling or?
Just click on this guy. Copy this. What? Give me 1 second. It's not copying. Is it you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Your
that's your
control.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, that's your computer. Sorry about that. I thought, oh. Why don't you copy this and put it in the group chat? Just throw it so that way you have it. It's yours. I forgot. Totally forgot that. Okay. And then the other ones, obviously, you can look up stuff, and then that's fine. You don't. It's for your own benefit, basically. You don't need. If you want to share with your group, then that's fine.
I mean, it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, you can share with others.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, good. All right, very good. All right, so you can use that one. Does that answer your question? I mean, we're going to continue to work on one, so continue to build. I kind of lost you for a second. You guys there? Fatima? Sudra, are you there? I think she lost the internet.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, good. You're back. Okay. Fatima, so let's continue to monitor your progress and keep asking questions. If you run into something, just don't wait like a long time. What you do is grab me. John, you got like 5 minutes, you got 10 minutes, or during the class, after class, or sometimes I might be working on something else, which doesn't bother me, but I have a lot of stuff going on. But I try to find at least every other days and maybe weekends. Bring all the questions, we'll get that answer. Okay. Wonderful, guys. Yeah, fun. I hope today's class it kind of a little bit help you refresh your knowledge on HTML. I know we've had this before, but maybe you learned something. Maybe you didn't learn anything. I don't know. Maybe hopefully you didn't waste your time today. Okay.
That was wonderful.
All right, we're gonna continue in this spirit. We're gonna work hard. We're gonna learn. Even if you learn one command a day, that's the least you can do, right? It's better than learning nothing. So I'm sure that together we're gonna learn a lot. Wonderful. Well, thanks for joining, guys. I truly appreciate it. And then we'll see you. Was that Tuesday or Wednesday? When our next class?
Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday, right? Okay. All right. Yeah, just continue. Bring a lot of questions, okay? Don't just show up in the class. Bring a lot of questions. So you never know that some other people maybe benefit from your question. If of course we answer those questions. Great. All right then. That should be it now. All right, guys. Thanks so much, and you enjoy the evening, and then we'll see you guys next week.